You know exactly what this person is. Not a hunch, you know. You've made the list. Your friends have said it, you've said it to yourself at 2 a.m. in a bathroom mirror. And then they text. And your entire body reacts before your brain finishes a single sentence. That reaction is not weakness. It is not stupidity. It is not a failure of self-respect. It is your brain doing exactly what it was built to do. Here's what that actually means. Level 1, the slot machine. You're 19, or 23, or 27. You text them. 3 minutes pass, then 3 hours, then 3 days. Nothing. You check your phone 47 times. You put it face down. You pick it up again. You know you're doing it. You do it anyway. Then, a single message. Hey. Your chest tightens. Something releases. Your whole body reorganizes around 3 letters. This is not love. This is not even close to love. This is a dopamine prediction error, and your brain is running it perfectly. Your reward system does not fire hardest when good things happen. It fires hardest when good things might happen. The uncertainty is not a warning. The uncertainty is the drug. A consistent partner gives your brain a predictable signal. It registers, it settles, it moves on. An inconsistent partner gives your brain something it cannot resolve. And that irresolution keeps the dopamine system in a permanent state of hungry alertness. They are a slot machine in your pocket. You pull the handle every time you check your phone. Sometimes you get nothing. Sometimes you get, hey. The randomness is not a flaw in the design. The randomness is the entire design. You have a text back, but you are losing your mind. You made it. Now you are level 2. Level 2, the fiction. You're 24. They cancel plans again. For the 3rd time this month. Same excuse, slightly different wording. Your friends sit across from you at dinner and say, quietly, carefully, because they've said it before, you should walk away. You say, they're just going through something right now. You know, as the words come out of your mouth, that you don't fully believe them, but you say them anyway. You repeat them until they feel more real than the thing you're trying not to feel. This is not denial. This is your brain actively rewriting reality to survive. The anterior cingulate cortex, the region that registers the physical pain of conflict, cannot hold 2 contradictory truths at once without firing distress signals through your entire body. The truths are, this person is hurting me, and I am staying. That combination is genuinely painful to hold. So your brain resolves the conflict the only way it can. It makes them the victim. It makes their behavior make sense. It makes you the one who needs to be more patient, more understanding, more willing to wait. You did not choose this rewrite. Your brain authored it to protect you from a pain it didn't know how to process. You have an excuse for them, but you have lost your own perspective entirely. You made it. Now you are level 3. Level 3, the phantom desire. You're 26. You don't even enjoy spending time with them anymore. When you're together, you feel tense, monitoring the temperature of the room, reading their silences, managing your own reactions so carefully that by the time you get home, you are exhausted from the performance. But when they leave, even after a bad night, even after an argument, you feel hollow. You miss them the moment the door closes. You want them back. You reach for your phone. Here's the part nobody explains. Your brain has 2 completely separate systems for wanting something and enjoying it. They do not talk to each other. They do not agree on anything. The wanting system fires when there is a target to pursue. The enjoyment system fires when something is actually pleasurable. Under normal circumstances, they work together. Under intermittent reinforcement, the random reward cycle you've been running on, they come apart. The wanting system has been trained by months of uncertainty and chase to fire constantly. The enjoyment system has nothing to report. There is no pleasure here. There hasn't been for a long time. So you exist in a state that makes no sense from the outside and total neurological sense from the inside. Craving someone you actively dread spending time with. You can biologically want someone you do not like. The want is not a vote of confidence. It is a misfiring signal from a system conditioned to chase, regardless of whether the thing being chased is worth having. You have the desire, but you have 0 joy. You made it. Now you are level 4. Level 4, the anchor. You're 28. You start to pull away. Not dramatically. You don't send the speech. You just reply a little slower. Make other plans. Let a day go without reaching out. They notice, and then they give you exactly 15% of what you've been asking for. A phone call, one real conversation, a compliment that lands like rain after a drought. And you stay. Not because 15% is enough, because after months of nothing, 15% floods your system like it's everything. Your body responds to it the way a person who hasn't eaten in days responds to a single meal, with disproportionate, overwhelming relief. This is not a coincidence. This is not them suddenly caring. This is intermittent reinforcement completing its loop exactly on schedule. Your amygdala, your brain's threat detection system, has been running a continuous alarm for months. The signal it's broadcasting is not subtle. If they leave, something essential is gone. If they leave, you are not safe. The alarm is wrong, but the amygdala does not accept evidence. It responds to patterns, and the pattern it has learned is this person's presence equals safety. This person's absence equals danger. The 15% turns the alarm off, temporarily. That silence feels like love. It is not love. It is relief. And to a nervous system running on cortisol and fear, relief and love feel identical. Your brain cannot tell the difference. You have their presence, but you are completely alone. You made it. Now you are level 5. Level 5, the burn. You're 29. They leave for good. Or you finally leave. Either way, it's over. And your body treats this information as an emergency. Your heart rate sits at 120 beats per minute while you are lying completely still. Your cortisol spikes. You cannot eat. You sleep 4 hours and wake at 3 a.m. with your mind already running, already replaying, already searching for the thing you could have said or done differently. Your insula, the brain region responsible for processing physical pain, is currently lit up in a way that, on a brain scan, looks identical to an open wound. You are not being dramatic. You are not overreacting. You are experiencing biological withdrawal from a substance your nervous system spent years depending on. The mechanism is the same as chemical dependency. The reward system that was flooded, then starved, then flooded again in a cycle of intermittent reinforcement is now receiving nothing. The baseline it recalibrated around is gone. The system is crashing. You Google, how long does heartbreak last? You find 4 to 6 weeks on average. 4 to 6 weeks is also, roughly, the timeline for acute withdrawal from certain substances. The timeline is the same because the mechanism is the same. The only difference is that nobody brings you soup. You have your freedom, but your nervous system is on fire. You made it. Now you are level 6. Level 6, the baseline. You're 30 or 34. You meet someone new, they text back. Same day, every day. Not because they're trying to impress you, just because that's how they operate. They say what they mean, they show up when they say they will. When you're upset, they ask what's wrong, and then they actually wait for the answer. And something in your nervous system goes completely flat. No spike, no flood, no checking your phone between every other thought, no anxious calculation of what their silence means, because there is no silence. There is just steadiness. You feel fine. You feel calm. And calm, to a nervous system trained on chaos, does not feel like safety. It feels like nothing is happening. So you start to wonder if there's something wrong with them. Why aren't you more excited? Where is the pull? This must mean they're not the right person, because the right person would make you feel something. And this just feels like quiet. There is nothing wrong with them. There is something calibrated in you. Calibrated, over years, to read anxiety as passion and safety as indifference, to interpret the presence of fear as the presence of love, to require turbulence as evidence that something matters. That calibration is not permanent. The brain changes in response to sustained new experience. This is not optimism. This is neuroplasticity, the documented, measurable capacity of neural pathways to reorganize when the input changes consistently over time. Your nervous system learned to call chaos home. It can learn something else. Not quickly, not in a week, not by deciding to, but through sustained, repeated exposure to a reward structure that is consistent and choosing to stay when everything in you says, this can't be right, it's too quiet. Your baseline shifts. What registers as safety begins to expand. What you call chemistry begins to include calm. You survived the chaos. Now you get to build the peace. And unlike everything this person and every person before them gave you, this part is actually yours.